What's up, everybody? Kinetic here, and welcome back to Grim Dawn. So, I have been taking a few days now to kind of take things a bit more slowly and really dig deeper into different ARPGs, like, for example, Grim Dawn here, and the new tricks that we have up our sleeve with the Trained Hard mod, which, I gotta say, my favorite part about this actually is not that it accelerates my progress so much, but that it really, as I mentioned before, really gives you a great opportunity to experiment with things, to trial things that you've seen that maybe other people have done, or maybe to, you know, get more proficient and knowledgeable in the game through that experimentation, and to maybe go ahead and start putting together your own combinations. And so this is the build that you guys saw me show off kind of a bit in the previous video, and it's decked out like really well. Now this particular Gunslinger build, now that I've really kind of like dug deeper into it, is very gear dependent. In order to be truly successful at Endgame, this is a build that is gonna need to be farmed for quite a bit, it seems, and that's just because, well, as other people have mentioned, I'm reading on the forums, the Gunslinger is not really a very well supported playstyle. So to support its playstyle, you need to have not very specific gear, but you have to have some really high quality shit, basically. For example, some of these items which are going to be harder to come by, like Stonehide. I've got Exalted Treads of Menhir's Wall. Now, depending on, you know, what your resistances are lacking, you may need to have different greens here and in the pants, but it seems that this is the way to go here, as far as I can tell. Stonehide, both in the pants and in the boots, gives us piercing resistance and gives us bleeding resistance, which I've noticed is the harder of some of the resistances to fill out. And as we know, in Grim Dawn, your resistances are extremely important, especially here in ultimate difficulty. So I've got Stonehide in both pants and boots, and that's giving me some nice resistances there. I'm using 4 pieces of the Ulzin's set, not using the 5-piece, because the pistols here, Exterminus and the Devil Tongue, their particular legendary powers are extremely powerful. I mean, with the 5-piece bonus, as you can read there, what we will get is we'll get more crit damage, we'll get a buttload of attack speed, which sounds fantastic if we were to use this weapon. But taking a look at the numbers here, you can notice there's differences in the types of damage, and the Flame Spreader doesn't have, other than the fact that it gives us crit and attack speed, it doesn't have any other power that it would donate to this build. Unlike Exterminus, which comes with the Dark Flame, 15% chance on attack to mark the foe and essentially reduce their resistances to fire and chaos, which is the biggest portions of our damage right there. Devil Tongue as well, Devil Spread, 100% chance on critical hit, fire a triple shot of hellish fire at your foes, which is really awesome, and does quite a bit of damage as well. You can see laced in there, we've got Haunted Steel, and we've got Devil Touched Ammo. Devil Touched Ammo, one of my favorite components by far for Gunslingers. We've got the Ulzin's Pyroclasm. There's the belt. We've got Pyroclasm Mark. This is really nice. It's giving us, for example, +2 to Ulzin's Wrath, +2 to Vindictive Flame, fire damage, attack speed, resistances. Very nice stuff going on there. The Handguards of Justice. This gives us, for example, piercing resistance. One of the biggest donators, actually, to our piercing resistance, definitely, which is, as you can see from my resistances, I'm still struggling to fill that in. We're also getting a lot of attack speed, and as I've mentioned before, attack speed is really big for this build. Some of the other accessories, we've got Entropic Coil, which is a nice vitality, poison resistance there. We've got more chaos damage and fire damage coming from that, so that's a really nice ring for this build. Here's another green ring. Again, depending on what your resistance is, you know, need to be reinforced, because that's a huge part of Grim Dawn's endgame, is your resistances. It will depend on what kind of ring that you're throwing in there. And yeah, right now this is kind of giving me the best all around resistance support. I would really like to find, if it's even possible, something maybe that can give me a little bit of Aether and Chaos as well as Piercing, because my Piercing is really lacking and it's kind of bugging me, but it is what it is. But you can see there's the numbers. Pretty impressive stuff here for our offensive, defensive, DPS, and armor rating. Let's actually, before we get into the action, we'll take a look really quickly. Now, of course, this is with the armor that I have on. You can see here there are the arcanist and there's the demo points. The blue highlights obviously represent that it's being boosted from gear. If you want to see the flat numbers without the gear boosting, then click the link in the description of this video. It'll take you to Grim Calc. I've also got a link to a guide for a really good Fire and Chaos build that you can get even more details from if you're looking for that. And it'll also show you off the devotion tree. I'm not going to get into that. So yeah, if you want the super details, then that's where you can go for them. I actually forgot to add Mavens into the equation. If we go ahead and turn that on, you can see it makes a little bit of a difference in our DPS. But of course, Mavens gives us a nice little kind of a defensive boost as well. I'm actually thinking of dropping the Mavens in place of having Alexstra's Flash Freeze. I'm a big fan of that skill. I really like it and how it can just help to give us more crowd control, interrupt enemies if need be, things like that. It's a very, very handy skill, especially in the leveling portion of creating a build such as this. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making my way to the Warden's laboratory, and we'll see if we can find some fun enemies to fight in there. A lot of Gunslinger builds I've noticed tend to more or less be built kind of around the same idea and concept, which is fine because, I mean, as it is, of all the builds that I've seen out there, like for Grim Dawn, I've noticed that the Gunslinger is just so much fun to play. It's unlike anything else out there to play in Grim Dawn, and it's an orgy of like damage flying out from your character, and I don't know how else to put it really. I mean, it's really fun to watch. I think somebody play this build, and definitely to actually play it yourself. You can certainly like go ahead and boost, using mods and stuff like that, like I have to get the results like this with a character. But at the same time, and as I've shown off in previous builds or previous videos for this build, it's a lot of fun to go the slower route and play through the game properly using a build like this. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Grim Dawn dual-wielding pistols Gunslinger build, one of the most fun and very powerful builds to play currently here in Grim Dawn. We do have, of course, the expansion coming out, and who knows, maybe Crate will be doing some things to help better support builds like these, to make them even easier to gear up and not be so dependent on certain configurations and things like that. Time will tell. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I want to know what you think down in the comment section below. Click the like button to support Grim Dawn here on the channel. I will definitely be doing more in the way to the expansion and beyond, showing off some Necromancer, showing off some Inquisitor, and all the new features being added in the expansion. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video. Thanks again for watching. This is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.